Hey everyone, and welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are going to tackle one of Python's most powerful features, classes. If you've ever been a little fuzzy on what they are or why on earth you'd even use them, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to use the official Python tutorial as our guide to make this whole thing crystal clear. So, what's on the menu today? Well, here's the plan. First, we're going to look at a super common problem, a real data mess that I'm sure you've run into. Then we'll reveal the big idea that cleans it all up, classes as blueprints. We'll actually build our first class, see how to bring objects to life from it, give them some behaviors, and then, just at the end, we'll get a quick peek at something really cool called inheritance. All right, let's dive right in. Look. Every single programmer, and I mean every programmer, eventually hits this wall. You're trying to keep track of related bits of info, and your code just starts to explode into chaos. Just imagine you're writing a little program to track dogs. For one dog, Fido. It's easy enough, right? A variable for his name, a list for his tricks. But what happens when you get another dog, Buddy? Now you got dog 2 name and dog 2 tricks, and a third, 100? You see where this is going? It's a nightmare of disconnected variables, a total mess, and it becomes basically impossible to manage. And this is that moment, where you lean back and think, wait a minute, there has to be a better way, right? You just know there should be a way to bundle a dog's name and its tricks together so they travel as one neat little package. And you'd be right. There absolutely is a better way. And that beautiful, elegant solution is the Python class. Seriously, just think of the class as a blueprint for making things. Instead of building each dog from scratch with a bunch of separate parts, we're going to design a single dog blueprint first. So, what is a class, really? Well, at its heart, it's just a template. It's a way to group two things together. Data, which we call attributes, like the dog's name, and the functions that work on that data, which we call methods, like a function to teach the dog a new trick. Data and functions, all bundled up. Okay, so if the class is the blueprint, what's the actual house you build from it? That, my friends, is an instance. This is a key idea. You have one dog blueprint, but you can build as many individual dog instances from it as you want, and each one can have its own unique details. And this slide just lays it all out so perfectly. Check it out. On the left, you've got the blueprint itself, class dog. It defines the general structure. But on the right, you have the actual dog, the instance. We use the blueprint to create a specific dog named Fido. Fido is a real object in our code with his own name. This separation between the blueprint and the final product, that's the magic right there. Okay, enough talk. Let's get our hands dirty and actually build this dog blueprint. You're going to see the code is way simpler than you might think. Okay, let's break this down. Inside our dog blueprint, we've got two kinds of variables. First, see that kind equals canine? That's a class variable. Think of it as a fact that's true for every single dog we'll ever create from this. They're all canines. Simple. But then you have the instance variables, like name and tricks. These are unique to each individual dog. So every time we create a new dog, it gets its own name and its very own brand new empty list for tricks. All right, so what is the deal with that weird-looking underscore init method? And what's this self thing all about? Well, this is where the magic happens. This is the moment an object is actually born from the blueprint. Let's walk through this step by step. When our code says D equals dog Fido, a few things happen in a split second. First, Python creates a totally empty, blank dog object. Then it immediately calls that special underscore init method to get it set up. It passes that new, blank object into the first argument, self. Then it passes Fido into the name argument. So inside that method, self.name equals name is basically saying, hey, for this specific object I'm building right now, set its name attribute to Fido. It's the setup phase. And that is the whole secret to self. It's not some crazy magic keyword. It's just the name we give to that first argument that receives the instance itself. It's how an object can talk about its own stuff, its own attributes and methods. It's basically the object's way of saying me or my. Okay, so we've bundled our data together. That's cool. But the real power, the game changer, is when you bundle the actions right along with it. And we do that by defining methods right inside the class. So to make our dogs actually do stuff, we define methods. And a method is really just a function that lives inside a class. This add trick method uses that special self variable to get a hold of its own data. In this case, it can add a new trick to its personal tricks list. It's modifying itself. So let's see this in action. We create our instance, Fido. D equals dog Fido. If we immediately check his list of tricks, yep, it's empty, just like we told it to be in the __init method. And now for the cool part. We call the add_trick method on our Fido instance. We tell Fido to add the trick roll over. And boom. If we check his tricks list again, it now has rollover in it. We've changed the internal state of that specific object. And the really crucial part? If we had another dog, Buddy, his tricks list would still be totally empty. Each object is its own little world. All right, one last powerful idea for today, inheritance. What if you want to make a new kind of blueprint, but it's really similar to one you already have? You don't just copy and paste all the code, right? No way. The whole idea is that you can create a new class that inherits all the goodies from an existing base class. This new or derived class automatically gets all the attributes and methods of its parent. From there, you can add new, more specialized features or even change how the old ones work. It's an amazing way to reuse code and build things in a really smart, layered way. Okay, let's do a quick fire recap of the big ideas. Ready? Classes are your blueprints. They bundle data and behaviors. Instances are the unique objects you build from those blueprints. The __init method is the constructor. It sets up a new object when it's born. Self is just how an object refers to itself, and methods are the functions that let those objects actually do things. Got it? Good. And really, that's the heart of Python classes. It's this incredibly powerful way to model things from the real world or even just abstract ideas right inside your code in a clean, organized way. So, I guess the only question left is, now that you know how to make the blueprints, what are you going to build first? Hey, if this explainer finally made classes click for you, do me a favor and hit that like button so we know we're on the right track. And definitely subscribe for more explainers on these core programming concepts. Today's explainer was based on the official Python docs, but if you want more hands-on tutorials for Python and a bunch of other languages, you should definitely check out www.plus2net.com. That is it for this explainer. We'll catch you in the next one.